We have seats this year.
Should be good. Put it in the middle.
I'll go,
Wait, is that good? Cool. Couple drinks after this. What? Yeah, he chucked it up. So you can do half of the video.
You're on mic up there.
He's such a blessing back. Welcome to the North Hobart Oval. For the first double header, starting procedures, we have round one, the women's Hobart Zebras starting owner. Number 17, Georgia Burt. Number 1, Shelley Cook. 5, Erin Delaney. 8, Isabella Ferrier. 11, Rachel Gill. 13, Madison Ryan. 14, Lily Holsen. Number 3, Danielle
Down at the Den, where we saw a comfortable victory for the Kingborough Lions, 3-0 over South Hobart, finally breaking through after an hour of pretty stubborn resistance. And a pretty good game in prospect here today between two of the title fancies. And the Hobart Zebras, the dominant team of 2017, and an Olympia Warriors team that were unbeatable in a division that did not befit them last year, and now they're back where they belong this year. And they'll be eager to leave their mark. I'm Andrew Cooling, joining me to call the action here this afternoon for this big doubleheader. A gorgeous day here at North Hobart Oval. Is Paul Hunt, and on the blog and chiming in as well will be Molly Appleton. A very good afternoon to you both.
Good afternoon, Andrew Cooling. Always a pleasure to be up here at North Hobart Oval, one of the more picturesque views we get of any match here in Tasmania. As you see both teams walking out, the very long walking out, and great to see Olympia's wonderful mascot bringing up the rear as well. To see Francis in full kit here. I'm expecting a wonderful contest here this afternoon. Hobart Zebras champions in 2017, brought back to the pack slightly last year, and we'll see what they can bring in 2019. And as you mentioned, Olympia Warriors really not quite in a division befitting of them last season, and I expect them to come in as pretty much my title favourites for this year, I'd say.
Well, they've claimed the Summer Cup, which is an early statement. I think it really depends upon how Olsen overcome their losses. They obviously had such a lead over the rest of the field last year, but they'll be quite as strong this year, you think, but they're still going to take some serious beating. Before we get underway here, we're going to have a minute's silence for the victims in New Zealand, and observe that one right now. So the minute's silence observed, and we're ready now to get underway. We'll have a quick look at the teams. We saw the Zebras line up, flash up before. There it is again. A few new names in that list, returning Shelley Cook in goals. Kayla Mason at the back, probably partnered by Selena Stevenson, who comes down from Launceston City. Danielle Canagisa's had a fine pre-season. She'll probably play out wide, possibly central striking role. You've got Isabella Ferrier, another of the newcomers. She comes across from South Hobart. Rachel Gill, Erin Delaney, Zoe Nichols, Madison Graham, and Georgia Burt, staples of this Zebra squad in previous years. Lily Holton, another one of those new signings. We've seen her at centre-back curiously throughout the pre-season. Also perhaps more known as a striker, so we'll see where she lines up today. Vilvock, Fulton, another new signing. Mutsatsos and the backup keeper Casey Ponting is the Zebras squad today. And their opponents, the Olympia Warriors, pretty much as expected. I think that's the same starting 11 from the Cup final last weekend. Maddie Black at the back. Olivia Bomford will play midfield. Maddie Chambers probably overused her, if anything, on the wing last week. She probably wore herself out because they just kept returning to that well of passing to Madison Chambers. And you've got a player of her ability. Why not Bonnie Davies? He's someone who's going to love this ground. She's the fastest player in the league, and there is a room to operate in here at North Hobart. Jenna Pharaoh, really impressive goalkeeper. I've been super impressed by her work over the pre-season. Looks like one of the best keepers in the competition already, and that could be a big edge. Sophie Lazinski will probably partner Black in the middle of defence. Josie Mamet will lead the line up top. Innocent Michael probably in central midfield, can play centre half, dropped back there late last week, but does her best work in midfield. Rafaela Puli, Heather Russell and Jade Williams rounding out that 11, and some good options on the bench too. Piper Allen be the backup keeper, with Kimberly Cure, Sophie Flack, Hayley Marino and Bianca Parker. And that is the lineups here as we're just about ready to get underway. The coin toss here. A prediction from you two before we begin, Paul and Molly.
All right, prediction. Whilst I haven't seen a whole lot of Olympia Warriors in the pre-season outside of that Women's Summer Cup final the other week, I do think they go into this game favourites, and I do think they'll come away with the victory here this afternoon. I do agree with you, just the pace of some of their players, particularly Bonnie Davies. I think they're room to move here. They're used to the tighter confines of Warrior Park, and when, as we saw, they really like to use the full width when they have the opportunity to, and I think that's going to be a factor. So I'm going to go maybe a 4-1 win to the Warriors.
That's a big call there, but I think that you've got to think that Olympia, they've got the team together. Zebras have a few new faces, so it's going to be a matter of whether they can gel today or whether that's something that'll kick in later in the season. So I think definitely Olympia have the edge, but I reckon there's only probably one goal in it, and I'm going to go 1-0 to Olympia, a 90-minute winner. Keep us on our toes.
More drama. That was them. The MO for Olympia last week, right at the death, the 109th minute with that slightly weird 10 minutes each way format. But it was just about the last chance in the game. They finally broke through. A very resilient Kingborough lineup. Created plenty of chances, couldn't quite take them. They'll need to be a little more clinical today. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw and sit firmly on the fence here. Read shift one way or another early on as one of our favourites, Francis Callan, just with the salute with the sword on his way past, striding around that wonderful Warriors outfit. But we're underway here at North Hobart, a sun-soaked North Hobart, a beautiful day for football here as Innocent Michael gets on the ball early on, and we'll look to see how heavily they target those wingers. It was such a part of their strategy last week, and a slightly bigger pitch here. You'd imagine Chambers and Davies will get a fair working out as Lily Holton looks to make some early inroads, getting around Lazinski. Purely stepping in there. Innocent Michael back to help out. Deflects off a Kanagisa. Now the Warriors will look to break out. Strikers just holding their runs, and in the end a fairly aimless ball, which the veteran Shelley Cook can gather, and I think Chris A will be glad to have Shelley Cook to be able to call upon her services again this year. Been such a reliable keeper for so many years in the women's game down here, is just running out of room there. A wide pitch, but not quite wide enough on that occasion.
Yeah, more room on the oval, but not quite on the pitch that we've had marked out today. And geez, it is looking an absolute peach here at North Hobart Oval. And the Zebras roll back in the Kanagisa direction, looking inside, nearly getting the return ball. I think that's Gill there on the left-hand side. And we'll see plenty of Kanagisa bursting down the left and right-hand side. Chris A usually likes to rotate the wingers at some point during the match. Battle for the ball out there on the far side. This takes some getting used to, being this far away.
Yeah, you are quite far back up here in the big tower, so thankfully we've got the monitor. But it looks like Lily Holton being deployed in attack today for the Zebras, back perhaps in a more natural position for her. Stevenson and Mason at the back. You might not find a more tough tackling pairing than them, and they're about to come under pressure for the first time today as Bonnie Davies saunters forward here. The speed demon looks to slide it through. The best pass, and might be able to recover it. Gill was back there and worked it away. And they find Kanagisa as an outlet. Drops it off for Zoe Nichols. Nichols back in to the midfield playmaker, Georgia Burt. Dissect the defence, couldn't quite, and Nichols pounces on it, deflects. This might land right to the path here of Kanagisa. But the keeper will come out and collect. It was Graham rather making the run down the right. And Pharaoh, it's probably the one knocking her last week was the distribution at times. It's absolutely rock solid in the air, really strong overhead, but just a few times had a little bit of trouble with the distribution and coughs it up here.
As we'll see Delaney to take the throw in. Inside towards Nichols. Turning. Wanting to try and play through Holton at the top. That's the one thing we saw the Zebras just struggle with a little bit in the pre-season in that game against Ulverston, just not quite having the outlet. But with Stevenson coming in, allows Holton to push up top, and I think that will be a popular outlet this afternoon as Chambers trying to jing past Delaney. Look for the width, will now cut inside. Went for the through ball, not coming. Stevenson knocks it back, and the long range drive falls fortunately to Michael, but couldn't quite get a toe on it. Olympia now looking to play out through Pewley. Canagiza to Holton. Matty Graham on the fast side, but well cut out by Williams. They'll go again. Canagiza screaming for it on the far side, but a lovely through ball rolled into the path of Graham. Will she shoot? Aims for the far corner. Comfortable save in the end for the Olympia keeper. The first shot on goal, comfortably handled by Pharaoh.
Really get a boot through that one there, Graham. Just getting a little bit of power as the Warriors charging back the other way through Mamet, combining nicely, plays the 1-2, gets back on it. Across to Chambers. Delaney's going to have her hands full this afternoon dealing with Matty Chambers. This one falls into the path of Mamet, skips into space. It's Mamet! Just past the post, bending away from the goal. And space in the box and a warning shot across the bows of the Zebras there.
And both sides getting a good side on goal from similar positions here early in the first half. Mamet getting decent power on it, but not quite the angle as Stevenson puts that one out for a throw in. Olympia now on the far side. To play through Bomford. Now Lazinski. Olympia patient in their build-up to start off. Now Williams to Michael. There's space on the far side if she wants to pick out a pass. Likes to go herself. Has Mamet inside. Michael's still going. Eventually Mason manages to cut that one out. Zebras want to build from the back through Delaney. Finds Graham. 4 up ahead for her, but just manages to knock it right into the path of the Olympia defence. Ball out to the far side and judged offside. The flag went up a bit early before Davies had a chance to run onto it, but probably a good call in the end.
They'll be glad of Bomford. So adept at that, skipping through the midfield, and Rachel Gill certainly got a tough matchup against the speed of Davies today. We'll need to be really watching her, not affording her too much room. She stands over this one and chips it forward. Nichols flicked it further afield, played by Lazinski. Now Williams to Chambers, getting into a little bit of trouble, well read by Delaney. Holton to Nichols. It'll be a dangerous duo in attack, and Nichols trying to thread through the overlapping Delaney. Graham dropping back in coverage, allowing the fullback to go marauding forwards. That will be the key, making sure the wingers are offering coverage. The fullbacks do overlap. Here's Jade Williams again, scrapping away with Lily Holton. Combining with Lazinski, so they look to play out from the back. Michael. Innocent Michael. Wells on the ball. Charged down in the end by Ferrier. Spills to the Warriors captain, Maddie Black. Will be looking to combine the teammates, but Georgia Burt winning it back for the Zebras. All pass though, couldn't pick out Lily Holton, and Lazinski jumps up into the play. The pass broken up before it could reach the intended target. Now out in front of Graham, but Chambers backing her pace to get in there. Forces it a retreat to Delaney. Delaney and Ferrier. It's passing combinations, and there's the curse of the commentator for you. It's a poor pass straight forwards.
Yeah, a little unfortunate there. They did well to get out of space. Ferrier and Delaney just really patient on the ball, but we are seeing Zebras looking to play it up top. Clearly Holton at pretty much every opportunity so far, whereas Olympia content to play it round and have the likes of Bomford and Michael have their feet on the ball as much as possible, as Mamet just sent their teammate a bit too much of a task. The Zebras throw in just in front of their technical area. Delaney down the line towards Holton. Looking to turn inside, had Burt, but elected to go to Delaney. Turned over. And running at the defence. Here's Mamet trying to beat Kayla Mason for pace. That's always a difficult task and a wonderful sliding challenge. As always from Kayla Mason. Got all ball on that occasion. Whacks it down the line. Burt under significant pressure from Mamet tracking back. Lovely bit of skill again there from Maddie Chambers. Burt doing what she does best from that holding midfield role. Really pressing whoever has the ball. Olympia content to play it out through the back. Is this what you've seen do them most in pre-season, Cooler?
Yeah, they're
pretty patient.
Quite content to build from the back. They keep it along the deck, and now they hit the switch and look to charge forwards through Bomford. Olivia Bomford couldn't get around Zoe Nichols. That's a real strength of a game for a striker. A defensive work rate and ability to win the ball back is better than most attackers you'll find. She'd probably make a fairly handy defender, really, but has the best work in the penalty area. But it's one of those players you don't want to look to take on. You think, oh, there's an attacker, we'll just skip past her. Not the case when it comes to Nichols, as Maddie Chambers looks to make some inroads down the left again. One-on-one with Delaney. Tries to put the move on. Loves that little spin move. She'll go to that one, and she draws the free kick on this occasion. Approaching 10-minute mark here of the first half. Warriors with a good opportunity. Looks like Williams coming across to take. Cook going to put two in the wall just in case she gets any ideas of bending one in near stick. An audacious effort from here. Cook taking up an interesting position there at the back post.
It's not a conventional position for a keeper, is it?
Well, there we go. Now she comes in. I reckon she's just goaded her into that. That's savvy veteran play. That is from Shelley Cook. Youngster over the dead ball. I'll trick you into curling one on target.
Really just hit the fishing rod out there, did Shelley Cook. She has really let the line out and said, you know exactly what you're going to try and do, and you won't be able to execute it. And then came in comfortably. As now Zebras have it at the other end through Holton. Kanagisa trying to stay on side. Holton ending up with most of the back four in front of her. Eventually, Lazinski will be able to clear. Delaney pressing up on Chambers. She will get back and does well. Does the defender. Georgia Burt down the line. Williams. An awkward knee on that one, but it'll just roll in play. There's the 1-2 with Lazinski. A huge amount of options ahead, so we'll drop it off to Michael. And now Bomford. And around comfortably at the back are the Warriors. Zoe Nichols getting a whole lot of the ball then with that attempt, and finally a through ball in the Davies direction, but a bit too narrow, and Shelley Cook well off her line to claim that one. But we haven't seen them manage to play in their speedster so far in the first 12 minutes too often, have the Warriors.
You made it the first 12 here, Molly. Fairly even start to the game.
Yeah, I think fairly even side. I don't think either front liners really had the ball well enough to be able to create anything. It's definitely midfield. Olympia looked built out, which looks good at times, but it's just a matter of Zebra, they're just running into traffic every time they move centrally.
As Bonnie Davies puts a cross in, and Michael pounces and fires straight at Cook. Her positioning spot on there. It had to be the first chance of the game. And it was a good one for innocent Michael. Well kept out, but the pace of Bonnie Davies burning them down to the right there.
Yeah, it's the biggest gap we've seen between Steventon and Gill all day, and it fell right to any Michael. And whilst you'd like to say either side of the keeper would do, Shelley Cook made great ground coming from a near post across to the centre there, made herself big and did very well to save that one. Probably the clearest cut chance of the match so far, as we see Nichols Looking to play in Holton. Forms to Ferrier. Now, it's Holton. Eventually gets to Canagiza. Went to play it first time. Eventually Black will be able to clear. Bomford tries to play in Chambers. Eventually gets there. A deflection off Delaney. Now Michael, but we just saw Olympia finally flick the switch with after their patient build-up, just finally hitting that killer ball. And really can see what Bonnie Davies can do as Williams looks it off to Bomford. And again, Chambers, who's probably been the main outlet for the Warriors in this first half. Still going is Chambers, managed to beat one, hit on the left foot, but right into the legs of Mason, who will clear that one out for a throw-in.
Lovely bit of skill to get around Delaney, but Mason covering for her fullback there. She's been cutting inside, I think, expecting her to go outside a couple of times, and Chambers has really taken upon herself to drive in towards the penalty area. What will she do here? Delaney with a rather rash attempt. Couldn't dispossess it though, and now Chambers on the angle, cuts it back. And it's going to fall back here, all the way back to Purley. Now Innocent Michael. Back to Lazinski. Now Williams. It's Williams. Dropped it off, it was a poor pass, wins it back. Montford turns back onto the left. She want to get onto her right foot though. Can't do so, so retreats to Lazinski. Sophie Lazinski to Chambers. Well in by Delaney. Tenacious D winning it back, but it's going to come right back at them here. The Warriors with a sustained spell of pressure. Back they go once again. Exercising ball control here. Black to Lazinski. Eventually won back by Zoe Nichols, but not permanently. Lazinski has won the war. Won the battle, not the war rather. Here's Caleb Mason. Trying to get something going. They're just unable to build out of their back third here at the moment, the Zebras, and maybe they'll be able to do so with a free throw in here.
Look, it'll help relieve some pressure. The last 5 minutes, the Warriors have really gone on top in this match, really controlling possession and playing it the match how they would want to. Just getting a bit nervous as well. Mason running up that high would leave the Zebras' defence pretty exposed if she does decide to go on a jaunt any time this afternoon, as that one's turned over. And the Warriors through Lazinski. Good challenge in the end there from Zoe Nichols. Out to Russell. For Davies, who'd probably prefer it on the ground rather than the head. Shelley Cook mops up. And Gill, I think, wanted to try and play that off the Olympia attacker, but to no avail. Bully with the throw. Black out to Williams, who's got a fair bit of space to run into here. Zebra's keeping their defence pretty compact, and that's why when Zoe Nichols intercepts, needs to play it in down the line. You can see what she was trying to do there to play in Holton, but Lazinski also read that one and happily let that one run out for a throw-in. Just got her body the right side of the play, did Lazinski.
Best defensive forward in the comp, Nichols. There we go. There's the claim. Anyone you can think of that's better adept in the final third at winning a back mold? You've seen her a fair bit over the past couple of years. For me, she just does it better than anyone.
Yeah, look, I think you're not wrong. There's a lot of out-and-out forwards we've got in the competition, but Zoe Nichols and her ability to get back, I think that's why often you're just going to see her today play attacking midfield with Holton playing a bit more of that forward. They'll switch every now and then like they have done already in the first 15, 16 minutes, but yeah, her ability, her hunger to win the ball is better than anyone in the league that I have seen. As a forward.
Of course, Ali Berry to come back in that attacking mix as well, which really just gives them three very different type of striking options. Variety is exactly what a coach wants as Bomford tries to slide that one through. Attackers weren't quite on the same wavelength, and it might be brought back here.
Oh, it should be.
It's not going to be, though.
There's a few other sporting codes played here, and that delightful block there from Steventon wouldn't look outplaced at a few of them. One I think the referee would like to have back.
Just seems like a classic, get one of them in nice and early, and if I get away with it, I can do it all day type of thing. the standard's been set. She's a master of the dark arts, Selena Stevenson, there's no doubt.
I was going to say 17 minutes into this game. First dark arts sighting, I think.
Yeah, going to be a very tough centre-back pairing with Taylor Mason. Two very strong operators there, and the Warriors will need to try and find a way through. They're trying to get through via the fullbacks at the moment, but Delaney away from Chambers. Williams back to Matty Chambers. He drifts inside and then chips it forward for Michael. Innocent Michael trying to show strength. It was a good challenge from Mason. Michael back on it. Beats Mason, then just rolls one in for Mamet, who couldn't quite reach it. It wasn't far away. And the Warriors are knocking on the door here, Paul.
Yeah, they certainly are. Amy Michael, every time she gets forward and runs into the box, it's always looking dangerous. As we now see them try again. Chambers, lovely through ball in the Mamet's direction, but just slightly overhit. They really are not far away here. The Warriors, they're certainly looking the more likely. As now DK knocks it down the line. Black will claim that one. And first sighting of Olympia's goalkeeper, Jenna Pharaoh, in a little while. Luckily, it's a nice warm day. No chance of hypothermia like you might get in a July-August game. Inside to Ferrier. Now to Nichols. Wanted to play it to Delaney initially. Now look to Graham, who peeled towards the line. Williams manages to collect. Tenacious D. For Nichols. With the 1-2, but Amy Michael read that one like a book. Now Bomford. Out to Chambers. You can see Mamet's just peeling off in between the two centre-backs. Going down the line is Chambers, and Delaney does exceptionally well to get a toe in for the first corner of the game after 20 minutes.
Yeah, and then any from their attacking incursions so far. We'll see if they take it short. They're a big fan of that, and indeed they do. It's Williams. Rolls it across into the path of Bomford, but reading the intent was Lily Holton. Olsen for Nichols. Made a stretch for it. Lazinski just enough to put her off. Back to Graham. Chips it out in front of Holton, but it's all Maddie Black, the skipper, in defence.
Just dropped off that necessary 10-15 yards there, did Black. I think she could read what was about to happen.
He doesn't go charging forwards all that often from what I've seen, but very reliable at the back. She keeps things in order down there. There's Warriors skipper. She rolls this one out to Williams. Williams sets it out in front of Chambers and says, go chase that. And Delaney forced to concede another corner. So one of the bounces conveniently off the flag for them. They're a young team, certainly a big physical side, so perhaps we should expect to see the short corner routine fairly frequently when they do get them. And indeed, that's exactly what Chambers has dialed up here, and she skips around Ferrier. Chambers cuts it back for Michael. It was on the left, it was off balance, it was bobbling, it never looked like going in.
Yeah, I think this is one instance where the short corner may come into effect, especially when you get that 2v1. It does make it a lot easier, and we just saw Chambers be able to glide into the box. Did pick out a teammate well. But Michael just leaning back into that one a tad. As the crowd steadily builds here at North Hobart Oval, you won't see a huge amount of them on the screen, as most of them are desperately seeking shade, although we can see them in the George Miller stand there on the far side. It's pretty warm out there on the bench seats. As Lazinski plays it to Black. Pooley wants to have a stride forward and was looking in the Russell direction, but did just overhit that one slightly. Shelley Cook patiently rolls it out to Stevenson. Couldn't quite find a teammate though, and Olympia will recycle through Lazinski. Mason intercepts well. Now to Holton. Ferrier under pressure from Mamet. They're playing it around nicely here in the centre of the park are the Zebras and commentators' kids. Holton turns that one over. Stevenson and Gill will manage to talk that one and get it to DK. Geezer was looking plenty of space that first 5 minutes, and it's been crowded out of late as Michael will go for another bursting run through the centre of the park. Has Mamet to play in if she wants to, but just hit it with a bit too much sauce to the feet of a striker.
Well, he's getting on top in this game, but finding the Zebras' defence quite a tough nut to crack. I think that's one thing they're going to go through a bit of an adjustment period. They scored at will last year. They find it slightly tougher breaking down defences in the Super League. They'll be a bit more organised, more experienced, and certainly Stevenson and Mason would have come up against too many defensive pairings like that last year. So it'll take a little while, I'm sure, to click. You don't quite have as many touches around the penalty area to take. You certainly don't have the time and space, and we'll have to adjust to that.
Yeah, it's probably where we've seen them recycle the ball out through the back and play it. They were probably doing that just inside their own half last year, whereas now they're doing it sort of 15 yards deep at centre back. And when we have seen them going forward, there's really been a good wall of 7 defenders for the Zebras in front, who, no harm intended to any of the Southern Championship teams, but probably have a little more defensive structure in terms of blocking all the passing lanes and such, as Innie Michael now tries to play it right through one of them, but again that'll fall through to Shelley Cook. I don't think we'll quite see as free-flowing scoring from the Warriors.
Certainly going to be made to work for their goals, and I saw that in the cup final last week. They huffed and puffed, and finally in the 109th minute they blew the door down, but they were made to work for it by an improved Kingborough Lions side, who certainly look like they're going to make a big jump this season. Big improvers in the competition this year, you'd imagine, and started off with a 3-0 win over South Hobart last night. And Matty Chambers, a pocket of space. Bomford with a little flick to Michael. Williams. Warriors quite content just to take the tempo out of the game. They know it's a hot day, it's a big pitch. We saw them in the cup final last week, players just coming down with cramp after the hour mark. It was tough conditions, and perhaps just leaving a little bit more in the tank early this week as Burt wins it away from Bomford, then slides it through for Lily Holton. Will the flag be raised? Yes, good decision. Olsen has finished quite tidily, but the flag was straight up, and we've got a pretty good view of that from our spot here, Paul, and rightfully judged.
After my slight complaints about the far side, we do have the best spot to see offside calls in the state, I think, up here, and I think that did just stray off there. Did Holton just on the wrong side of the defender, looking to roll the defence. Unfortunately, just a little bit too eager, as we'll now have Chambers on the left-hand side, swap with Michael temporarily. Davies is in a good pocket of space there on the far side. Up against Gill, lovely bit of skill to get around the defender. It's Bonnie Davies coming across as Kayla Mason and gets the deflection once again, and just sticking out those long levers and conceding the corner. But Bonnie Davies can get around the defender. First real sighting on goal for her.
Tell you what's audacious of the Zebras' home base here to give themselves a 1-0 lead on the scoreboard here, Paul. I've just noticed there on the electronic scoreboard. 0-0, of course, the score here. No breakthrough yet, and it's been the Warriors who've threatened, if anyone. That was a really poorly executed corner, though, and it might invite a little bit of danger the other way. Graham will have to retreat back and chase this one, though.
I mean, the whole scoreboard does look fairly broken at the moment, so we'll claim it as a whole of scoreboard thing rather than the Zebras scheming.
Perhaps so, as Bomford drops this one in. Kanagisa doing the defensive work. Stevenson smashes it away to Graham. Graham looks to take on Williams, but Williams does pretty well there. It's a foot in, forces her back. Graham with good recovery. Burt now worked it to Holton, dropped it off for Nichols. Nichols, well, the idea was right to try and spring Kanagisa, but the direction was not.
You can absolutely see what Zoe Nichols is trying to do. In the air as apology afterwards, just didn't quite get enough curl on it. Good moment goes passing for the Zebras. It's Pooley. Crunching challenge again from Zoe Nichols. And we'll look to spring in at teammate. Just gets it to Holton, and again, Maddie Black, composed defending, intercepts that one. Now it's DK. I say that's a mishit pass rather than a shot. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt.
Not a best decision either way, I would have thought. What do you think the Zebras have got to do here, Molly, to get back into it? Because they just seem to be struggling to get a hold of the ball right now.
Yeah, definitely. I think that they're obviously doing well in defence and making sure any time Olympia really pushes forward, they're just running into traffic. But going forward, they're going to have to use their width a bit more because this field is begging for width. That's what Olympia's doing. That's where they're finding success. The Zebras have the players to do that. Kanagiza is up on the wing with her arm out just about every time the ball's going forward. So if they can spring her a little bit more often.
As Holton breaks in, and it's a great chance wide of the mark. I tell you what, every time we get you chiming with analysis, a prime chance comes about 5 seconds afterwards, Molly, so we might need you chiming in a bit more regularly here. You are the #1 chance creator so far today, and that is the best chance for the Zebras. Holton unable to direct it on target.
Oh, yeah, Molly's got the gospel voice here this afternoon. Just whenever she's talking, it's always in the 18-yard box, and Holton finally getting a good sight on goal. Pharaoh came out nice and quickly, made herself big, and I think that did just enough to put off the defender, the attacker. She just waited on that one. I think Holton would have found the corner as we've got a bursting run coming through here from Bomford, and then just tries one too many tricks on to get through. There's a shot on the far side there, snapshot I think from Davies in the end.
And Mason just gifting it straight to her after she made her second big challenge to stop a good scoring chance. She's been very good so far, Kayla Mason. That speed of hers, getting her back to cover a couple of times, but just did the hard work and then almost coughed it up immediately.
I haven't seen anything in this first 28 minutes of the season to change my opinion that she'd be my starting centre-back in a Tassie team. There's Ferrier now on the ball. Stevenson looking for Graham, but Williams has got out pretty much everything that the Zebras have wanted to play down this right-hand side so far, as Russell looks in the Davies direction. The artist, formerly known as Riddler, knocks that one out.
Yeah, half an hour ticked by, 0-0 the score here. Beautiful day for football at North Hobart. It's a double header between the Warriors and the Zebras, the second Super League game of the season. Both teams looking to join the Kingborough Lions, and Zoe Nichols in the bullseye. Just punts that one forward there, but pretty diligent defence so far. Jade Williams, the fullback. Now Sophie Lazinski. Across to Bonnie Davies. Bonnie Davies will back her pace. Taking around Delaney. Mason now, she shoots past her too and drives, but straight at Shelley Cook, who has a safe pair of hands. And the chances of mounting, what are the shot numbers at the moment, Molly?
Olympia are well ahead with 8 shots, 3 of them off target, while Zebras have been pretty minimised. I've got 3 with 2 off.
Just that one big chance for Holton, really, but they are starting to mount here for the Warriors. Shelley Cook, solid presence in net. Nice work there from Bomford, skipping into space. Georgia Burt beats her too. It's Olivia Bomford now trying to finesse one. And again, they're getting plenty of shots, but they're not quality enough shots to test a keeper like Shelley Cook.
No, as we've talked about, they probably haven't come up against as good a keeper as Shelley Cook in quite some time. Have the Warriors, and now Holton has finally got it away from Black. Lazinski coming across. She's got to do it all herself. Holton gets a shot off. Comfortably claimed by Pharaoh. And getting a few half chances the Zebras. Just need to capitalise on it, as I thought that was a bit of a soft pass there from Matty Black. Just did enough to get to a teammate. Michael battling away with Ferrier. Eventually knocks it back to Bomford. Cooley manages to get around DK. Olympia, after the half-hour mark, have certainly had the majority of possession here in this match, but nothing to show for it on the scoreboard as of yet. It's just situations like this where Zebras are happy just to keep their compact, almost back 6, with Ferrier and Burt dropping really deep and just letting the Warriors play it around, as that's a good ball to try and spring in behind Gill. It's purely this time, not Davis on the far side, shoots and gets the first goal for the Olympia Warriors. Striding forward from right back is Raphael Purely and slots that one perfectly home.
Yeah, Raphael Purely with an emphatic shot. The fullback with a striker's hit there. That was delightful stuff to beat Shelley Cook. The scoreboard going nuts. Francis's horn going nuts. That signals an Olympia Warriors goal. And you won't see too many taken better than that as we have a look at the build-up. Jade Williams, the left back, just stepping into midfield and stroking one over the top. And charging forwards here, it was the right back. Just got goal side of Rachel Gill and makes it pay. Shelley Cook might want to have that one back at the near post, but it was pretty perfectly placed.
Yeah, I didn't mean to sound so shocked that Purely was in such an advanced position, but I don't think she's barely crossed halfway in the first half hour, and then all of a sudden is up exactly where Bonnie Davies has been sat all half and pops up and quite frankly shows her attacking teammates how it's done from right back. Absolutely cool finish.
Yeah, best shot of the day, that's for sure. Absolutely thumping it, and Cook caught her by surprise a little too, so the Warriors right back showing that she's got a few strings to her bow, and will that build confidence? Here's the pace of Manny Chambers trying to get in behind, and it's well defended there by Gill on this occasion. It's behind for a corner. It's Olympia growing in confidence, and that goal should see it grow further. There's a Russell across to take the set piece. And think about the short option again with only one defender across to market. A 2v1. It's, the stat sheet says you should take it. Indeed they do. They're just going to keep going to the well on this one whilst the Zebras only send one. It's squared back again to the goal scorer Purely. Bomford in some space. She can hit them from here if she can get onto her right. Well, she can't because she gets unceremoniously hacked to the ground. But she'll get a chance over the dead ball to do it.
One of the easiest calls to give of the day. Bomford trying to get on that right foot. Carla Mason just leaving a leg in. Just a bit of letting Bomford that knows she's there.
I think it's just, well, rather you have the shot with a wall in your way than a free hit it out keeper. She was beaten. Have a little bit of skill from Olivia Bomford, and she's an outstanding free kick taker, but this one is very close. It's going to be tough to get it up and over from this range.
Yeah, it's all about the wall placement here from Shelley Cook. Just really has to make sure that left-hand side gets occupied, and fantastic save onto the crossbar, hooked over the head. Cook once again with the punch, eventually cleared. And while it's only the first game, that is one of the best saves you'll see all season.
Yep, gets a strong glove to this one to tip it onto the bar. It's hit with some venom then. Good recovery, just facing away from goal was Mamet. Made it tough, tried to loop it up over her head, and Cook able to clear away. The veteran keeper coming up with the goods here as Heather Russell's shot is charged down by Georgia Burt. Can't quite pick out Holton. Lazinski, Bomford tries that little shimmy move again, and Nichols, having none of it, leans in, and it's going to be a foul against the Zebras there.
And again, Bomford, great control in tight areas. Nichols will harass for the full 90 minutes, and probably not going to be the first foul she'll concede in this game. So we'll see what Bomford can do from this free kick. Looks in the Michael direction, but ends up into the arms of Cook, who rolls it out to Kanagiza. TK keeps control. Graham's in a good pocket of space on the right-hand side. That's where they go. Ferrier. Back to Burt. And Stevenson. Georgia Burt finally getting her foot on the ball and able to spray a few passes around. Nichols manages to beat one. Graham's in some space. So's DK. Nichols striding into the box and offside. In the end is Kanagiza.
I think she went the wrong side there, Zoe Nichols. Needs to go down the right. Graham, plenty of space, but either way, Kanagiza has to stay on side there. Your team's been struggling to create chances. It's a wasted moment in attack where you had a 3v3 developing.
Especially as we're physically looking over the line as Gill manages to get a crucial head in on that one. Yeah, especially when you're standing there able to look across the line. That's where it really a coach killer.
Chambers with another little skip inside and volleys it to herself, and will try and take on Kayla Mason, and gets the better of Kayla Mason. It's Maddie Chambers to double the Warriors lead. Mason, great recovery, came charging back, and from the cloud she wins the ball. And that was a crucial intervention as Chambers looked to double the Warriors' lead and looked every chance of doing just that. That's the advantage Mason has with her speed, just that recovery to get back in position when you're seemingly out of the picture. I don't think Chambers was expecting her to get back and put that challenge in as Lozinski returns to the well with Chambers. Away by Stevenson. Canagiza now. Neil Canagiza drops it for Holton. Holton for Zoe Nichols. Nichols might look to have a run at Lozinski here. She does. She takes her on. Zoe Nichols backing herself, charging into the box. It's Nichols now cutting it back, looking for Canagiza. Purely away from her, only so far as Nichols, who tried to wrap it round Black, but unsuccessfully. So the Zebras just starting to come to life a little bit, but a big scare at the other end for them.
Yeah, a big scare at the other end. Just thinking, my new mid-season project, or in-season project, is just going to be a compilation video of Kayla Mason's tackling, I think. I've seen about 3 already today. They've just been absolutely superb. And that video is going to be about 20 minutes long by the end of the season, I think. She's been imperious at the back so far. His counterpart Stevenson mops up this one. It does seem like the Zebras have temporarily moved Nichols and Holton around. Some confusion over whether that'll be a free kick or play on in the end. Olympia elects to keep the ball moving. It's now Williams. And just to get around Graham the first time. Now Chambers. Bomford is immediately pressured by Holton. Gets past well and now looks to play the ball through to Mamet. Mamet jinks inside one. Olsen belts it unconvincingly the first time, but gets it away the second. Now, DK back to Gill. The return ball, but I don't think Canagiza was quite expecting it with such urgency. So we tick into the 40th minute mark here at North Hobart Oval. Olympia 1-0 in front, and certainly based on possession, they probably deserved that one, as they'll now go back to the Bonnie Davies well. Good challenge again from Gill. Also using her body well against the speed of Bonnie Davies, who, outside of possibly, remember, one through ball, has been kept relatively quiet here in this first half.
Yeah, it's flashed a couple of times with the pace, but they've handled it fairly well. They throw in Olympia, and they find a second goal before the break. Yeah, decisive moment. The Zebras would do well to get into the sheds at 1-0. They've been on the back foot for much of the half, although showed on the counter do possess a threat. Forged a couple of reasonable chances themselves. Balance the play though. Olympia good value for their 1-goal lead so far. Here's Georgia Burt. Ferrier turning it to Burt. And Canagiza away from Nichols by Bomford. And Black in defence. There's plenty of time to pick a pass to the playmaker Bomford. The goal scorer purely. Back again, they recycle it. Very patient stuff from the Warriors. Williams. Graham aware of what she wanted to do. She's done it a few times. That will drive inside, but it works on this occasion. Now Bomford tries to thread the eye of the needle. Can't spring Russell in behind, who was on the heels and probably not quite expecting the through ball then.
Not quite happy with the forward run there made by her teammate was Bomford, as now Nichols gets away from Black. Nichols charging into the box. She's got good pace here, Zoe Nichols. Jinks onto the right foot. Nichols! Oh, she's put it just wide. Aiming for that far corner. They've beaten the defence. All ends up at Zoe Nichols, and a prime chance again for the Zebras.
Yeah, look, sends Lozinski off to buy a hot dog there. That was a slaloming run, surging through. Not far away of picking out the bottom corner. Pharaoh beat. It's a laser of a shot. She might get another chance here. They've made a bit of a hash of this. Pharaoh comes out. Does she collect the ball or the man? A chance for Nichols. The net gaping, and she can't put it home. And is that a penalty or a free kick that's been blown here?
I've seen a point to the spot there from the referee.
That's a penalty blown. So, yeah, it is a clear foul. Advantage paid. And look, didn't quite take it, but it's been brought back. So it's going to be Selena Stevenson by the looks of it to step up.
I was thinking who'd be their penalty taker. Obviously, Lucy Johnson took pretty much all of them last year from memory.
Yeah, I thought probably Georgia Burt would have been the one I probably would have expected, but Stevenson taking him up in the north. Very experienced player. The centre half. Can she beat Pharaoh and square the ledger just before half-time? A big moment in the game here. Stevenson v Pharaoh. And it's a great penalty. That's why she's on it. She makes no mistake. Emphatically hit. Pharaoh guessed correctly but couldn't get near it. A brilliant penalty. And we are back on terms just before the break.
They've always looked good on the counter. Have the Zebras, and from the penalty, Stevenson coolly slots it home. Got a nice bit of air underneath it. Pharaoh was expecting that to go to ground. Whilst dominating possession, the Warriors. Zebras have had their fair share of chances, and they've now equalised at 1-1. They've probably will look to hold on to that going into half-time. About 2-3 minutes to do that, but Mamet trying to get in. Ferrier. Mamet battling away. Should be a foul on the Zebras player. Eventually called by the referee. No advantage paid there on that instant. And I just saw Georgia Burt there instruct all the teammates just to calm it down a tad.
Settle it down, settle it down. Good piece of officiating on that penalty too, I think.
Yeah.
Paid the advantage.
Yep.
Wait to see if it was going to be a good clear-cut chance. It's, left foot off balance for Nichols. Bring it back, give him the chance from the spot, and Stevenson was emphatic. Here's Graham. Delaney just asking too much of Graham there. 90 seconds left in the half, and Zebras have surged late. After Olympia definitely had the better of this contest early on, but they're coming under increasing pressure at the back, and Canagiza and Holsen now chipped it forward, maybe expecting a run from Nichols, none forthcoming.
He was expecting a diagonal run or a straight run from Canagiza there. As Pharaoh has a good bit of purchase behind that one and plays in Bonnie Davies. Getting goal side, here's Gill. And the goal scorer Stevenson knocks it back to Shelley Cook. They do well to get it out of this area with the Zebras. It's now DK turning away from Pooley. Back to the captain, Georgia Burt. Raking ball looking for Graham, but as she has done all afternoon, Williams intercepts that one well. Good ball down the line in the Chambers direction. Gets on the left foot. Chambers just a bit too much angle on that one. It'll roll out for the goal kick. Good run again there from Chambers, but just sort of caught between two minds there.
1 minute without a time. Played here. Cook. It's an anxious D. Graham. Coughed it up to Chambers. Back to Lazinski. Lazinski with time. Like the option she saw. Michael. Purely. Now the captain, Black. Spreads it wide on the right to Davies. Looks to combine with a Russell. Georgia Burt sweeping across before anything can build there. Dying embers here. The whistle imminent, you feel. Canagiza. Zebras look it forward to Holton. Georgia Burt. Busy as ever in this first half. Canagiza, perhaps time for one last chance here for the Zebras. Lazinski should be able to handle it, does so to Black. Listen, Michael. And that will be half-time here at North Hobart. 1 goal apiece. The Zebras striking back just before half-time after Olympia had started the brighter. And we've got an intriguing second half to come.
Yeah, each side playing a different style of football here this afternoon. Warriors happy to have all the possession, and Zebras just happy to play on the counter-attack. We saw the Warriors hit the lead just after the half-hour mark through just about one of their most unlikeliest of sources in Rafaela Puley. And then the Zebras, another one of their lightning counter-attacks, managed to win the penalty off the goalkeeper and coolly slotted home by Stevenson. And the game is poised on a knife edge here for this second half. It really could go either way, but a good even contest, I'd say, so far, with both teams looking to play to their strengths. What do you reckon, Molly?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's no doubt Zebras knew they weren't going to win the midfield with the players they've got compared to what they've had in previous seasons. So they're just letting Olympia play and just sitting deep, soaking up the pressure, and then long ball up forward to your Nichols or Kanagiza to try and create something through that, or Holton as well. And I think all those players can hold the ball. They're holding the ball up well, creating something, whilst Olympia's doing well with patience, but it's a bit more of the long game for those guys.
Yeah, I think you're spot on there. We've seen the Warriors have been very happy just to settle things down, keep a hold of possession. The Zebras have been fairly direct getting it forwards, and the two strategies cancelling each other out somewhat. We've got a fantastically poised game here at the half. 1 goal apiece. Really looking forward to what the second 45 has in store. Be back in around about 10 minutes with just that. Don't go anywhere. It was a good challenge from Mason. Michael back on it, beats Mason, then just rolls one in for Mamet, who couldn't quite reach it. It wasn't. That's exactly what Chambers has dialed up here, and she skips around Ferrier. Chambers cuts it back for Michael. It was on the left, it was off balance, it was bobbling. In the tank early this week as Burt wins it away from Bomford, then slides it through for Lily Holton. Will the flag be raised? Yes, good decision. Olsen.
Bit of skill to get around the defender. It's Bonnie Davies coming across as Kayla Mason and gets the deflection once again. And just sticking.
The ball's going forward. So if they can spring her a little bit more often.
As Holton breaks in, and it's a great chance wide of the mark. I tell you what, every time we get you chiming back at pace. Taking around Delaney. Mason now, she shoots past her too and drives, but straight at Shelley Cook, who has a safe pair of hands.
Being really deep and just letting the Warriors play it around, as that's a good ball to try and spring in behind Gill. It's purely this time, not Davis on the far side, shoots and gets the first goal for the Olympia Warriors.
Squared back again to the goal scorer Purely. Bomford in some space. She can hit them from here if she can get onto her right. Well, she can't because she gets unceremoniously hacked to the ground.
From Shelley Cook. Just really has to make sure that left-hand side gets occupied, and fantastic save onto the crossbar. Hooked over the head. Cook.
Take on Kayla Mason and gets the better of Kayla Mason. It's Maddie Chambers to double the Warriors' lead. Mason, great recovery. Came charging back and from the
Nichols charging into the box. She's got good pace here, Zoe Nichols. Jinks onto the right foot. Nichols! Oh, she put it just wide.
Chance here, they've made a bit of a hash of this. Pharaoh comes out. Does she collect the ball or the man? A chance for Nichols. The net gaping, and she can't put it home. Square the ledger just before half-time. A big moment in the game here. Stevenson v Pharaoh. And it's a great penalty. That's why she's on it. She makes no
one well. Good ball down the line in the Chambers direction. It's on the left foot. Chambers, just a bit too much angle on that one.
Substitutions for Hobart Zebras. Number 17, George Burt off, and replaced with number 15, Olsen. Substitution for Olympia. Number 7, Manziel Chambers off, replaced by number 16, Sophie Flack.
And they've got Sophie Flack coming on for Maddie Chambers, if that was number 7. So you can only assume that Burt and Chambers have both copped injuries in that first half, because I find it highly unlikely they would be getting switched out of this game otherwise.
Yeah, I don't think it is Georgia Burt coming off, because I see Georgia Burt standing in the centre circle. So
Brad announced a stitch just there.
Absolutely stitched. It's definitely Fulton coming on. I think looking at the fourth officials board, it was 13 for the Zebras.
Graham.
Which is Matty Graham, and Fulton has gone to the wing position, so that would appear to be a straight swap, and Kenny Geezer and the Zebras will get us underway.
Fulton, another one of the new pickups in the Zebras team, coming across from South Hobart. A very talented young winger. Very adept at getting him behind the lines. So we'll see if she can add something to their play in this half. As we reset a 1-1. Ready to go again, both teams looking for the win. It's Olympia attacking early here. Bonnie Davies. She'll look to back her pace in over Gill, but Gill gets a good foot in. There's the substitute Flack, making her presence felt early on here. 30 seconds into her stint.
Seems like Flack's moved to right back, and Williams is who's gone into the centre of the park. A bit of a tactical reshuffle here from the Warriors at the second half. As Georgia Burt absolutely confirmed she's not substituted. As it goes to Tenacious D. Williams gets a toe in. Burt lets that one run to Gill. Walks it down the line. Fulton, a willing runner and giving chase. Black walks it back to the keeper. Pharaoh comfortably collected anything that came away in the first half. Didn't really do a lot about the penalty. Stevenson did it exceptionally well. It's now Bomford. Got Davies trying to run off the last defender. Bomford battling with Nichols. What a battle in the centre of the park that's been so far. And Nichols bursting down the line. The Agricultural attempted a challenge from Bomford. Nichols ends up losing it. Referee adjudged advantage. Enough advantage had been paid. Lovely touch from Davies. Again, Georgia Burt harassing back in midfield. Mason back to Cook. Good pressure from Mamet. Both sides coming out in an attacking way in this second half. Goal scorer Pooley. Lazinski to Williams. Williams looking through the channel. Looking for the run of Russell. And Cook. It's a nice bit of backspin on that one, but as far as the Warriors able to keep possession at the moment are the Zebras. Down the line is Mamet, surely in the back from Kanagisa. Claiming she got the ball. I like the appeal attempt there from Kanagisa, claiming she got the ball.
She may well have, but
eventually.
No, I don't think she did anyway. She certainly got the back though. There's powering straight in there, Daniel Kanagisa. Bomford hits the deck. She might have slipped on the ball though, rather than being fouled, and that is the case. Delaney. Bomford sliding back in to win it. Holton to Delaney. Back to Lily Holton, who's quite good in that hold-up, build-up type role today. She now looks to make a run through the middle. Nichols will send it in that direction. Sends it slightly wide up for Fulton. Substitute looking for her first involvement here. Stands on the ball. Back to a former South Hobart teammate, Ferrier. Classy little turn that. Back to Fulton. The chemistry evident there. Holton lets it run for Nichols. Oh, don't think she was expecting the little dummy that was oh so clever from Holton, and in the end, a tame shot.
I think she had too much time on her hands there, Zoe Nichols. A combination not expecting it. And just had all the time in the world to size it up. Ended up, I think, kicking the ground first before the ball was Mamet. Harassing Kayla Mason, but does well to eventually get it out, but Williams collects. And this ball down the line, which Mason has plenty of time to let that one fly. Keeps it in play. Warriors, as we saw in the first half, will look to build up out through the back. Crossfield ball in the Davies direction, but can't quite keep that one in. Will be Gill to take the throw in. No teammates in the area, so Olympia reclaim possession. It's Williams, good toe in there from Delaney, coming inside from a right back position. Now Kanagisa with a chance to run at the defence. DK knocks it out in front of her, possibly too far. No, gets there in front of Lazinski. Does Kanagisa, ball into the box, which Black, as she has done throughout the match, coolly intercepts. Ferrier. Back to Nichols, going against Bomford once again. Nichols wins on this occasion, trying to get on the right foot. Nichols hits it. First time now, Georgia Burt. It's a little bit too much air underneath that one. And it's closer to the other set of goalposts here today than the one she was aiming for.
Have some good speed there, Zoe Nichols. Really is at pace with the ball. Confident. Driving at the defence, but holding firm. There in the heart of the defence, and Lazinski to innocent Michael, who drops deep. Looks it to Bomford. Bomford forward for Williams. That's a clever ball. It might spring the pace of Davies. Cook off her line. She was sharp. She had to be with the speed of Davies bearing down, but Shelley Cook gets out to whisk it away. Black now into the bullseye. Straight though to Georgia Burt. Burt spies Kanagisa, but purely steps in and wins it away. Williams laid off by Davies. Bomford drops it back. The game just comes to a halt almost temporarily.
Playing within very tight confines, the players, as Mason just left that one a little bit short for Shelley Cook. As they were playing it around there, every player was in about 20 by 20 square of each other there.
It's very noticeable on this pitch, isn't it? So much room in behind. Maybe that's what both teams want. They'll just spring their pacey forwards in behind. Here's Rachel Gill working it forward towards Ferrier. One back by Olivia Bomford though. Innocent Michael. Well read by Georgia Burt, anticipating, but Innocent Michael gets back on it for the Warriors. It's Michael driving at the defence. Couldn't get past Mason. She's been outstanding today. Repels another one. Williams. Kanagisa tracks back. Delaney will work it back to Kanagisa. Delaney. Holton. Doing the hold-up work. Now Kanagisa. Spreads it across. Delaney. Kanagisa. Just a few times they've played that ball forward, but the forwards just haven't quite been on the same wavelength.
No, we've talked about the Zebras having numerous different players, particularly up top this year compared to last year. See, with Holton and Fulton, Ferrier coming across from other Super League teams as that one's turned over, and now Nichols looks to play in Holton, but eventually the Warriors crowd out the Zebras attacker. It's now Russell. Both Warriors players are on side here, but Shelley Cook again in the starting position of the penalty spot, can easily come out and claim. It's Delaney trying to turn away from Williams. Olsen just fires it into her own teammate, knocking her to the ground. And now Fulton the chance to lay it off to Nichols. Nichols wants to get on the right foot here. Gets past Michael. Zoe Nichols still going to the box. Zoe Nichols! Oh, what a goal to put the Zebras 2-1 in front. Nichols beats 4 Warriors defenders and coolly slots it past the keeper.
Well, she's threatened on a couple of occasions. This time she finishes the work. She skipped past defenders like witches' hats there and strikes home a world-class goal. This is delightful stuff from Nichols. Sends a couple down the river, waits for the keeper to commit. Pharaoh does everything she can. That is technically perfect keeping, but Nichols picks out the bottom corner. That's a stunning solo goal. I did say in my preview of the season she was a player to watch, and that is just why. That is sublime stuff.
Slaloming run there from Zoe Nichols. Just turned on the Jets, and the Warriors doing something they probably haven't had to do in years and come back from behind. As Mason coolly intercepts that one. It'll be interesting to see what the Zebras do here. I think Coach Chris Hay will be imploring them to keep playing the same, but they will naturally probably want to drop off a little more as the half wears on. They don't want to be too defensive. And here's Nichols again, trying to find Fulton. I think that's gone off, last off the Zebras player.
It's been a massive improvement from the last time I saw this Zebras team down at the Den against the King Reliance, and they were torn to shreds that evening, really. The scoreline at 4-2, almost flattered them at the end, but they've really picked it up. They're playing with much greater sense of cohesion. I think we probably saw that was maybe the result of having so many new parts in the team, so many new players learning to play with each other, and even early in this game, perhaps still working through that, but as the game has worn on, they've got better and better. And they're looking pretty sharp at the moment. Zoe Nichols leading the line with a plum. What a goal that was. Now Olympia, as you say, they've not been in this position very often, with perhaps the exception of that Cup game last year when they fell to Taroona in a cracking semi-final. That's probably the only time since 2017 they would have been behind in a game, so how will they adapt to this new challenge?
Yeah, we saw them together play Ulverston in the Summer Cup. Ulverston playing with 10 men, they really did set the stall out, and Zebras, it was noticeable the lack of cohesion as you'd expect in pre-season. Just weren't able to break down the 10-woman Ulverston, and they're clearly liking the more open space and the more open game here, and I think that's worked to their advantage as well. The bigger pitch as Kanagisa looks it down the line. Fulton chasing after it. Eventually the Warriors get it out through Lazinski. Again, as soon as they stride forward, the Olympia defenders, everyone's really crowded together. You could almost fit every player in one camera shot here at the moment. So Lazinski has every possible passing lane shut down by the Zebras. Lazinski's sitting there at the centre circle with just a wall of Zebras.
A zebra crossing, really?
Yes, thank you.
Very sharp there, Molly. Hammering away on the blog and delivering punts like that. That's why she's paid the big bucks. That might be news to her. There's a chance here for the Warriors. Bonnie Davies lays it back. Not sure about that decision. Seemed to have Williams in plenty of space wide on the left there. Maybe thought she was offside, I'm not sure, but opted to play it back. And the Warriors chasing the game.
And this will suit the Zebras as well, as they're just really sitting compact. Georgia Burt's just sitting right in front of her two centre defenders, just really directing traffic almost. And just in the defence, she's barely had to run the last 2 minutes. I've just seen her there like a crossing guard. As that one goes to the substitute Fulton. Lily Holton looking to play the ball in behind Purely, and Kanagisa will get there, hit it first time, but over the top of the crossbar from DK.
Do you think the Warriors need to change things up here, Molly? The game does seem to be just drifting away a little at the moment for them.
You've got to be looking for your runners. You've got so often they're playing out of the back, which is great to see, but you've got no options there. With the way the Zebras are sort of sitting back, it's working for them if there's no runs. You've got players there that can run, create some space. If one player just runs through the centre or changes direction a bit, I think that could change the game and open up some space for them, because they're really struggling to find space despite the size of the pitch.
It's pretty amazing that you could lack space on a pitch this big. It's just about as big a pitch as we get here in Tasmania, and tight spaces. Innie Michael and Bobfin can do stuff like that, but it's just getting into the bigger spaces and getting it to Davies. And that's what they're struggling with at the moment. To be fair, the Zebras aren't really allowing them either, as that one's turned over by Gill. Now, Maddie Black. Innie Michael, who had a few good runs from the centre midfield in the first half, yet to see any in the second.
Pushed up and constricted, everyone is again. Both teams playing quite a high line, so there's so much room in behind, but no team's been able to profit from it. Bonnie Davies now fancies her chances, running up against Gill here. It's Davies from the angle. And good coverage again. Mason comes across with Gill, and together Inspire to put it behind for a corner. This was better from the Warriors.
She's done very well there. Gill is at that particular moment, there's got no second defender help at all. Eventually Mason comes over, but it is Gill that gets the deflection. And she's done very well there as Davies in that position and expected to put her head down and run straight for the near post. And again, the numbers advantage at the short corner as well. Lex to knock it out to the top of the box. Bomford gets around Nichols this time. Stood at ground and no advantage paid by the referee. I don't think Nichols stuck a leg out or anything that time, but he did enough. Just left the left knee in there possibly.
Yeah, I think it's a fairly straightforward one there. Bomford knows what she's doing, but she does draw the foul. This is very much her kind of territory here, Bomford. The previous one she hit was probably a bit too close to goal to get it up and over the wall, so went to the opposite side. She might try and bring this one up and down. It's Bomford. She bends it over the top, couldn't quite bring it back down with the curl she was after. And, for an hour of football here at North Hobart Oval, it's Hobart Zebras 2-1. Fantastic open game, plenty of chances for both sides, both teams with periods in the ascendancy. But it is the champions of 2017 holding sway for the moment as Kayla Mason turns this one over to Williams. Heather Russell will give chase, but Stevenson steers it to Kanagisa. Kanagisa to Holton. Hit up forward roll. Innocent Michael now, holding off the attention of Ferrier, then driving inside. Gill gets a foot in, but it spills to Russell. Russell back to Williams. Williams back to Heather Russell. Innocent Michael. And Mason away, and this well-organised Zebras defence hold firm again. Easy, Fulton.
I think that attack there from the Warriors really exemplifies the difference they're going to have from last year compared to this year. They were probably used to just playing it into the feet of Innie Michael and using her as a temporary target man in the box and just being able to pick and choose which midfielder to lay it off to. But in this competition, you're going to have the likes of Mason and Stevenson nipping at your heels. And I don't think it's going to be as easy to do that this season as we see Mamet now get in behind, but offside is judged. Coolly slotted in the end by the Warriors striker.
So a couple of offsides, one against Holton in the first half where it was a nice finish at the end of it. To be. So can't tell anything from that angle. But wonderful finish. It looks like some action on the Warriors sideline here. And Amy Marino is going to be introduced. Is Heather Russell coming off? Yes, Heather Russell is replaced. So we'll see if Hayley Marino can change things up.
Quality salad on Hayley Marino if we're going to bring salad watch into the Women's Super League.
A bit going on there.
Don't mind it at all. Shelley Cook knocks that one forward, and just a split. The two teammates, oh, that's a short ball back in the end, and both Nichols and Holton were on it, but Black just does enough to relieve the pressure. It's now Williams. Stevenson in a foot race with Davies. She really wants to keep it to come off the line, and Shelley Cook just gets there in time. It's now Fulton. Back to Ferrier. Two ex-South Hobart players combined. She's not going to quite get there on this occasion is Fulton. Olympia are looking to play with a little more urgency whenever the ball goes out of play. Bomford trying to turn around Ferrier. There's it back. And now further back to the goalkeeper. Again, seeing the Zebras just pointing where each other should be and getting on their right players, and they're really getting time to reset the Zebras. The Warriors are currently down, but have spent 30 seconds in their defensive third.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to go away from their style. They've played in this manner for a number of years, and they're going to back it in to get the results, but perhaps a little more urgency is what the situation calls for. They've still got plenty of time to get back into this one, but they've caused themselves a little bit of a problem here as Zoe Nichols has set off again, but she didn't have anyone in support making the run to where she wanted to direct the ball, needed to try and use Fulton instead. There's the substitute first involvement there, and plays in Williams. Bomford looks to turn and drive, but Kayla Mason jumps up into that and rolls it to Nichols. Michael slides in to put her off. Nichols to Delaney. And Ferrier. I'll blanket over 20 players at the moment. Kanageza. Turns back to Delaney. Zebras looking to build down the right. Kanageza and Delaney combining. Now it's Georgia Burt. She forced the issue a little bit. Goes to Holton. Holton's pass. Unable to find Fulton, but Zoe Nichols has won it back. Zoe Nichols charging into the box now. Maddie Black stride for stride with her. The Warriors captain sticking to her. Nichols gets the cross in, but no one on hand. This one can roll out of play. Gill get there first, does so, shields the ball intelligently, and worked it back to Isabel Ferrier. Ferrier under close checking from Bomford. Back to Burt. The Warriors force them back. All the way to Mason. Now Mason just puts it out in front of Kanageza and backs their pace. Danielle Kanageza tracks this down. She's got two in the middle. I'm not sure if Pharaoh got a hand to that one or not. I don't think so. Just the goal kick.
Kanageza in behind the defence, and was a bit too fast for her own teammates there, I think, was DK. And just on Zoe Nichols' run before, I think she was just a little bit too honest there for the moment, as that's a slightly miscued kick towards Annie Michael, but no damage done. Calls for handball, not heeded. I just think Zoe Nichols could have just used her body, the amount of contact that she was engaged in, and used it to her advantage just before. I was not quite sure why that wasn't a handball.
A little over on there, I think.
Gill gets that one out of the sky. Turned over to Mamet. She leaves it a bit short, and Ferrier intercepts. Fulton to Ferrier. Georgia Burt was in a nice pocket of space, but lobs it up to Holton. Fulton are just straight offside. ever so slightly. The Zebras sticking with the game plan that's worked well for them throughout this match. The Warriors try to play it out through Pewley. Lovely turn on the far side from the substitute Marino in a foot race with Tenacious D. Plays the 1-2 with Williams. He left a little bit too much on that one, and Mason fully knocks that one out for a throw-in.
What's the shot tally, Molly?
You've got, they're fairly even actually. You've got the Warriors are sitting on 11 all up, and Zebras are on 10. Warriors are a bit more on target with 6 against 4, but fairly even in the end compared to early days where it was Olympia completely one-sided. Zebras have definitely pulled back and are working the quick transition, which is great to see.
And they have got themselves right back into it as Bomford now looking to create a chance for the Warriors. That's a really good foot in from Georgia Burt though. Crucially winning it back. Lily Holton turns and goes. Fulton will see this one out of play in front of it. In front of the Zebras bench down there.
Not a lot of movement on that Zebras bench so far in this second half.
A great day to be wearing all black and sitting directly in the sun, I reckon, either. To be fair to the Warriors, Zebras faithful down there. Zoe Nichols rolls her foot over it. Loves doing that. So she plays a bit of futsal the way she brings that move out. This one, we work back into the middle for Williams. Had to stretch to get there, did so, but Delaney ultimately wins it back and puts it out in front of Kanagisa, who's got pace here. Danielle Kanagisa, and she backs herself to drive into the box. Still going Kanagisa. And eventually just runs out of real estate and just left a little bit on Pharaoh in the process.
Yeah, it was everyone's waiting expectantly for the cutback there from Kanagisa. Kept running through to the byline, got past 2 really well. Lazinski probably just did enough and the ball out of play. Kanagisa does leave the knee in a little bit there on the keeper.
Reno giving chase here, but Kayla Mason gives it away. I'm sure there have been many better than Kayla Mason out there today. And Imperious at the back for the Zebras. Williams. Clever little jink around Ferrier. She's going into this game, Jade Williams. Georgia Burt. He's going to stay in. There's a few tired players out there just conserving energy for when the ball comes in their direction. Not really willing to move a whole lot if the ball is in their immediate vicinity. It's a very hot day here. It's early in the season, and especially for the Warriors. I mean, you play most of your football on Warrior Park and then come out here to North Hobart. It is quite the change-up.
It certainly is, and just looking at the way Lily Holton is putting a power of work up top, but just looking completely out in her legs, having chased Lazinski and Black all afternoon. And she's on the ball now, trying to play in Nichols. And Bomford manages to chase back, and we're now seeing a few of the Zebras substitutes warming up in front of us here. And it's been often 1v4 for Holton this afternoon. Good ball, Davies manages to get goal side of Gill, who sides her down. Winning the ball on this occasion was Gill. Williams, Mason sticks a leg out. Delaney comes across. Williams hits it into it. Now Davies at the top of the box with Georgia Burt for company. Burt coolly lays it back to Delaney. Bomford. Now Michael. One ball of Zebras in front of her once again. It's now Williams trying to play it through. Mason again sticks a leg out and clears. Burt battling away on the far side and just to get that out off Williams for a throw-in on the car sponsorship side of the ground.
Well, that was an obscure parking place for a few people there. Yeah, you're probably on the money there, Paul, with the place advertising.
Just the amount of sun shining off them. My car hasn't glistened like that since the day I bought it.
Yeah, I think taking advantage to make the cars on display there. It's got DJ's fingerprints all over it, I reckon. Zebras with about 20 minutes left to hold on to this lead as they look to start their Super League season with 3 points. Obviously a disappointing 2018 for them. Came into the year with such high expectations after winning the treble in 2017, and the proved too hard a act to follow, and last year was all about the Olsen Football Club. What a dominant season they put together, and they are the carrot everyone is chasing this season. In action this weekend, a few fixture tweaks occurring to get the Zebras and Olympia doubleheader up here at North Hobart. I was wondering why there's only 2 games this opening weekend. I think either of them were technically round 1 clashes when the roster was done. Just a little bit of massaging into the fixture going on there, I think, as it was explained to me.
Any excuse to have a glorious Sunday afternoon like we have here. It's all planned out well in the end.
End of the day, everyone's going to play each other twice home and away each by the end of the season.
Might as well have a doubleheader at a ground like this, as the ball's now out wide to Geezer. And a slightly loose pass there from DK. It will be interesting to see how Ulverston start the season. I think that's when they're going to be their most vulnerable, once they get cracking into the season and get into a rhythm. A formidable force, but the likes of Fulton Gorry potentially missing parts of the season, and coming down with 10 players in the Summer Cup game. It might just take them a little while to get into the groove. It's now Burt, as DK screaming for it on the far side, and goes in that direction. Went to play the 1-2 with Ferrier.
Tell you what, the 10 held their own very well, though.
Oh, didn't they ever?
They needed 10 to make it a competitive game, so if they get a full 11 out there, be careful writing the epitaphs for Ulverston just yet, as Bonnie Davies surging after this one, but it's going to run out of room. We'll get the throw in those. Look to push on here. Chris A screaming out the instructions from the touchline. Not terribly happy with everything he's seeing. As Black's going to come.
I think we're having a drinks break by the looks of it.
I think we are having a drinks break, so that's probably sensible. That's probably been instituted. We're at the halfway point, well, just past the halfway point of the half, and I think probably a good idea. The players are lagging quite a bit out there, and it's really hot out there. Of course, a couple of weeks ago, we had a big triple header to launch the season of NPL at KG5, called off due to the heat. So, those tuning in from interstate, it's quite nice down here this time of year.
It's delightful down here this time of year. Great month for often saying the normal 9 to 5 job. March is the most consistent weather in Tasmania and the best time to come around and do a few weeks travelling, and this is absolutely why. It's a beautiful day here, but sometimes not quite conducive to one of the winter codes of football. The referees out there having a drink as well. It does get pretty warm on a day like today. Not much cloud cover or shelter you get here at North Hobart Oval. It does feel pretty open there in the middle of the pitch.
So what are we expecting from the last 15 minutes here, Molly? What's Olympia got in their locker that they can throw at them? Because at the moment, the Zebras have defended pretty comfortably in recent times.
Yeah, I think definitely the Zebras have their number at the moment with how they're looking to play out from the back. That last bit of play there where they moved the ball really quickly and lopped one over to Davies, I think that's going to be the winner if they're going to come back into this game. They're going to have to be looking for that quick release, and you've got a bit of pace for the Zebras in the back, so they're not going to be super exposed. But with their high line, I think that's definitely something. If you can work the ball quickly, get space, try and get away from Kayla Mason, maybe attack whatever side in centre back that she's not in, I think you've got a good chance there.
A chance for the coach there, Al Russell, to give some instructions to his players as well for Zebras, and make a good use of that drinks break, I'm sure, just to maybe shift 1 or 2 things or drive home a particular message. There'll be a few minutes of added time now, but 15 minutes left in regulation. The Warriors to try get back on terms. Here's Zoe Nichols, who's been outstanding today. Just let that one get a little bit too far in front of it. That pass was behind Bomford. One back by Williams. Bomford can get back on it. Drags it away from Nichols. Is surrounded by Zebras here though, and he's up looking for support to go back in the end. Retreat. Maddie Black on it now. She rolls it across to Lazinski. Reno making a run down the left, and that's exactly where Ernest Michael heads, but she just didn't hold her run apparently. The flag raised. It's like a perfect ball from Michael. Must just have strayed. Frustrating one there.
Looked picture perfect from up here in our position. It's a lovely weighted ball from Eddie Michael. Probably the best pass she's made all game, to be honest. And as we saw in the first half, just the wingers looking across the line, not quite holding their run enough as DK gets that one to Fulton. Ozinski manages to win that one and plays through Mamet, who's battling away with Mason. Delaney to Burt. Lovely turn there from Zoe Nichols. Sold the dummy to Bomford really well. And the ball down the line to Canagiza. First time ball in the Holton direction, but Black just does enough. Now we're seeing the game open up a little. We're talking about having a blanket over them before. They're looking a bit more spread out now as Michael will look for the through ball again. Eventually wins it. Gets it to Marino. Marino looking inside towards Mamet, who gets the touch into space. But unfortunately a bit too heavy a touch, and Shelley Cook will claim that one.
I think the pitch stretching out there and getting a little more loose will definitely help the Warriors in their endeavour to get this goal. The Zebras will be quite content to keep it compact. They win the ball back here. Williams just buffets off of Zoe Nichols there. No nonsense there. Sophie Flack for grabs. Stevenson stepped in and worked it to Lily Holton. Holton chips it over the top. Canagiza might have purely for pace here. Danielle Canagiza, she can ice the game for the Zebras and puts it past the post. A big opportunity there to make it 3-1. Goes begging for Canagiza. She isn't far away. What a ball from Holton.
Oh, they're both on the same wavelength there. Holton chips it over the top of two defenders. Canagiza on the right peg. And I'll tell you what, she's not missed that by much at all. Canagiza looking for the far post. That would have just about been the cherry on top of the cake. But still at 2-1. DK methodically trying to get past Purley. Who concedes the throw in. As we saw in the first half, just as the half wore on, Zebra's counter-attacks getting more and more dangerous and the chances more and more wide open. We might see that again here in the second half as Delaney throws it to DK. I hope that took a deflection, but it didn't. And a goal kick to the Warriors. Plays it out the back. Now Michael. Three players surrounding the Warriors. Nichols putting good pressure on the keeper. Ferry chips that one, and Williams has got acres to run into in the centre of the park. Looks down the left-hand side. Marino in on goal. It's 3v3. Marino, tamely hit shot, will fall out for a goal kick. We've just put the foot on it and possibly picked out a teammate there with the Warriors winger.
Yeah, impressed with Jade Williams today. Really driving the play from the back. So he stepped up into a midfield role. And it's looked pretty good since Flack came on and shifted things at the back. Has got a little bit more involved. Yeah, looked to play through the midfield even when she was at fullback in the first half. Really looking to drive in the middle of the park and make things happen.
Got the assist from charging into the centre midfield. For the Warriors goal did Williams. I was really impressed with her defensive positioning as well, and clearly an adaptable player as Holton wins the throw in off Black. I'd agree with you there, Court. Probably been my Olympia player of the match so far. Unless someone can step up and get the equaliser.
Zoe Nichols to turn back inside. Ford was alert to it. Gill up to Fulton. Fulton back to Nichols. Zoe Nichols. Oh, body on the line there from Bomford. Quite affected though. Holton dropping it up, and now they've invited some danger. Lily Holton bending one from range, but it's straight down the throat of Pharaoh, who collects comfortably and rolls to her skipper, Maddie Black. Anderson Michael. Michael shut down by Burt. Now scorer, Rafaela Puli. Swings it to the quarterback, Marino. Oh, that's a dicey ball. Lily Holton out. Holton with plenty of room, drops it off for Ferrier, who's bombed on. Ferrier won't test Pharaoh with that. Really tame effort in the end.
Well, both of the Zebras' chances remind me of Lucy Johnson's goal here last year, just looking to chip the keeper from range. There's Olympia now looking through Marino. Space pass. Good ball to the Zebras. TK and Delaney using it well. Burt tries to drop it off. Full Kanakiza. Purely gets in the way. The side, after that drinks break, looking terribly eager to make a substitution, whereas they were both looking quite keen before that. Tenacious D taking all the allotted time for the throw-in. An awkward ball back to her from Nichols, and eventually Michael applies enough pressure to win the throw. And seeing the Warriors quite playing it out from the back as much as we've seen the previous 70-odd minutes of this game. Davies calling for it while she's 3 yards offside. Potentially may have just stayed on, but that one's going to fall to Shelley Cook, whose starting position most of this match has been around between the penalty spot and the 18-yard line, and it's really come in handy to cut out these through balls Olympia have been looking to play. There's Michael, looks it down the wing for the quarterback, looking into Mamet, now to the back post. Davies hits it first time and got it in the bottom corner. Bonnie Davies with the left peg drives it low, and that makes it 2-all. The Warriors charging home here in this game.
Yeah, I thought Cook had that one covered. Just seems to have kicked up and spun over the hands there. Bonnie Davies is a cricketer, and I think that might have been the googly there that's done Cook in. We'll have a look at the replay here. The substitute Marino with a clever little chip. That's great contact first time from Davies. Cook, yeah, it seems to just dive under it, can't keep it out. And the Warriors get back on terms, 2-all, and now with 7 minutes to go, both teams will look to push for the win. The Warriors pull it back. It's been a game with chances for both teams, really. And they've both converted the same number now. Will it kick the Warriors on? Will it inspire them? They're suddenly looking pretty good here, the Warriors. It's Bonnie Davies in acres of space. She's got 2 lining up at the back post. And Kayla Mason saves the day with a crucial sliding challenge. 2 players unmarked at the back stick. That is huge from Mason again.
Oh, it's nearly game over if Kayla Mason doesn't make that challenge. The trailing right leg gets in the way. Michael
Lost.
And ceremoniously taken down from Zoe Nichols. And this indicated that's been her 3rd challenge there, and just the trailing leg. Well, inches away, Bonnie Davies, from setting a teammate through unmarked in the 6-yard box. And they'll have another chance here, and it's the impressive Williams who will look to take this one. Homford really not feeling like this one is in range.
Maybe just a knuckleball type one and follow up the rebound. Yeah, tough one to blast top bins from here for Williams. Go over the outside of the boot and attempt it, but it was always unlikely, and this one floating well over beyond the reach of Cook. But, the Warriors striking back on terms, and a good substitution from Alastair Russell. He's brought on Marino, who's set this one up. Probably one that Cook would like to have back, though. Just eluding it. But all credit to Bonnie Davies for the wrong-footed finish from one that wasn't flat on the deck. That took some serious work to screw that one into the corner.
Yeah, I think got a nice bit of turn and spin on that one. Did Davies, and now the through ball again. She might have another chance here, but the flag is up again. She's looking very eager in this last few minutes. Here's Bonnie Davies, hungry to get the winner. Shelley Cook, I think, wanted to take that one quickly, but was kindly instructed to maybe wind the clock down a tad.
Tired bodies out there, but Davies has something in the tank, and she's still got her pace about it. She's causing fits at the back at the moment for the Zebras, who 10 minutes ago looked fairly comfortable in this game and looked like they'd walk away with all 3 points, and now they're seemingly looking to hold on for one. Can't give a chance. They're so close to making it 3-1, and now it's Olympia doing all the running. The quarterback out after this one, but Kayla Mason, diligent as ever, puts it Out for the throw.
Cooley. Down the line to Marino. Turning out of trouble well is Pewley. Not out of play, but if there's a touch on this by Marino, it'll be offside and eventually gets a touch. Seems to be a bit more of a wind blowing here at North Hobart Oval. Coming across from left to right of screen as we look at the very well-placed advertising on the far side. Those sails certainly weren't flying like that earlier.
Another factor why the Warriors are starting to run a little bit stronger. Seem to be favouring their end slightly. Slight cross breeze, but definitely angling towards the Horry Gorringe stand. Holton has been great at that hold-up play today, but she can't combine with Zoe Nichols on this occasion. Davies just peeled off into some space. Great bit of defending from Rachel Gill, though. Covered well. Bomford. Towards the crowd. Some support in the form of Innocent Michael. Rafaela Purley. Out now to Marino. Marino. Williams. Defended by Ferrier. Canagiza only has Holton out ahead of her, so goes back centrally, and Innocent Michael was all over that. Michael being watched closely by Kayla Mason. Just to take her and Delaney on. Delaney gets a foot in, and Michael lets it roll, and then dwells on it for a moment. Now the cross comes in, should be dealt with by Burt. It is so, purely. There are some tired players out there now. There's not a whole lot of running after this ball. It's a battle of attrition. Who's got something left to give? Is it Josie Mamet? Good challenge, Stevenson. Crucial challenge. Behind it goes for a corner. 2 minutes to play.
Immediately pulls up with cramp after making that challenge, does Stevenson. Zebra's dropping deeper and deeper in this second half. They are hanging on for dear life as the Warriors are coming home the strongest. That little bit of a wind advantage. Zebras being every player back in the box, not opting for short this time is Williams, as this one goes centrally. Cook over the top of her head, scrambling. There's 4 Zebras on the line and they'll eventually clear it. There's a huge amount of numbers in the box. Eventually we'll end up with Lazinski. What can the Warriors produce in the last couple of minutes? It's Williams. Looking for the chip ball through to Mamet. Mamet who's onside. Mason and Stevenson between the two of them. Eventually get it out. Delaney. They keep control. It falls to Williams. Good turn from Bomford. Bomford beats one. Has a shot. Cook. Gets the body behind that one. Again, the danger passes temporarily for the Zebras. On ball from Cook. Now Williams, heavy touch from playing Nichols. Turned over to Lazinski. Now Bomford, Davies in a pocket of space, and she's onside here. Bonnie Davies got 2 over at the far post. Bonnie Davies near, save. Shelley Cook, rebound, Mamet, goal. Onside, and Mamet has put the Warriors 3-2 up in the 90th minute. It's another late show for the Warriors.
Oh, they've done it again. They've pulled it out of the fire. The 109th minute in the Cup final last week, in the final minute of regulation time here at North Hobart. Cook with a good first save, but left it on the doorstep for Mamet, who comes in and buries what is surely the match-winning goal. Bonnie Davies has run on strong in this game. Draws a good save, but unfortunately it just went far too centrally back there. And Mamet buttering up has probably iced this one for the Warriors. The comeback complete from 2-1 down to 3-2 in front. A couple of late goals, and for the second week in a row, it's Josie Mamet at the death. She really does her best work when there's just seconds left on the clock, it would seem. There will be a bit of added time for the Zebras if they're good enough. Pharaoh out after this one. Fulton's got pace. She won't be able to track it down before the keeper, though. You'd have to think there'd be 3 minutes at least of added time. So there was an opportunity for the Zebras. Olympia have really run out this game, the stronger, in particular Bonnie Davies. Her pace, just too much to handle for this lagging Zebras defence. Not many players had a lot left to give, but Bonnie Davies did. Kayla Mason tried her best, did really well to get across, forced a shot, and Cook just needed to push that one past the post at the end of the day, it was a good reflex save, but rebound control not there.
Confirmation of 3 minutes of added time from the fourth official.
With an up and under. Kayla Mason jumping up into it, trying to force the issue. Had a shirt tug there, surely a free kick. Play allowed to continue though. Shipped up towards Holton, but Pharaoh will collect and should be able to eat more precious time off the clock here.
No one really closing her down with any great pace. Eventually, Olsen will make her pick the ball up, and this one's going along in the Davies direction, urging her team on. There's Bonnie Davies. Gill intercepts. Fulton to Burt, dropping really deep to Ferrier. Back to Burt. Chip ball over the top, looking the likely option, and Nichols has got through here. Zoe Nichols on the right peg. Oh, she's put it over the top. Another gilt-edged chance here for the Zebras. She's probably been one of their best players on the park. Nichols is a lovely chip ball by Burt, but just couldn't keep it down.
Yeah, it was Holton just occupying Lazinski and just got under it a fraction too much. Went for the perfect finish. Did all the hard work, but couldn't quite get it on target there at the end. Zoe Nichols and secure a share of the spoils, and that might just about be it. It will be the last chance of this one, with less than a minute left. The Zebras to try and pull it out of the fire. They're pressing up the field in search of one last hurrah. Georgia Burt, I'm not sure that was particularly well advised, pulling the trigger from 40 yards. They might keep a hold of it here. Kanagiza should spill for Delaney. She plays it to Burt. That was shut down by Michael. Get it from Stevenson back to Rachel Gill. Good pass to Fulton into some space. She goes centrally. Didn't have the legs on it to reach Holton. Michael with one that will come down with snow on it. And we've ticked past 93 minutes now, so the final whistle surely imminent. This is it for the Zebras. Last chance saloon. They need to get it into the box, and they need to get it there right now. Fulton can't get past Black and Bomford. Holton centering ball cut out by Williams. Last offers Stevenson, and now Davies, and surely that's it for the Warriors, who are telling them just kick it on out of here and we'll get the final whistle, but it's still being sheathed by the referee just now, and Zoe Nichols has played in over the top. Can't collect. Pharaoh will, and that is surely that.
It's a great run there from Zoe Nichols. Just saw it out of the corner of my eye as the Zebras defence had the ball. Just about picked her out, as we'll see. Marino, Rob Tenacious D coming across Kayla Mason for expert slide challenge number 5 for this game. Williams looks it past Delaney. Again, still going is Marino. Can they put the icing on the cake? It's Mamet at the near post against Stevenson. Still Mamet towards the back post. No one there for the moment. It's Davies to collect. Gets on the left peg. Eventually knocks it back to Bomford into Mason. It's getting a bit scrappy here at the end as we enter the 95th minute. Bomford knocks it over one, and we'll have a shot from a long way out, but Cook will collect a look at the watch from the referee.
Travel 94 and a half minutes with 3 minutes signalled, so not sure what is going on. Maybe it wasn't 3 minutes. Did you read that one right, Paul? Williams picks it up. Final whistle finally rings out. I thought we were getting the shades of copper at Valley Road here there for a moment. We might go 99 minutes, but finally this one is brought to an end. A thrilling exhibition of football here, and a great way to cap off round 1 in the Women's Super League. A fantastic showing, and the Olympia Warriors rally back with 2 late goals to overrun a Zebras team. A real seesawing battle, that one.
Yeah, could have gone either way. That game, both teams had spells where they would consider the dominant team. Olympia with a bit more possession, but the Zebras always a danger on the counter-attack. And at 2-1 up going into that drinks break in the 75th minute, the Zebras looked comfortable, but the Warriors just came home strongest, as we'll have a look at the goals. What seems like a lifetime ago, Raphael Purley was the most unlikeliest of sorts to get the game's first goal. And Stevenson from the penalty spot, and it 1-1 in the first half, and then again a seesawing battle in the second half, Gill.
Yeah, really a game that that ebbed and flowed, and I think ultimately both teams created enough chances to win this game, but Olympia just took one more than them. What do you think, Molly?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's often the team that comes home the strongest, and Olympia have showed again that they're strong come the 90th minute. They can still run it out, especially with their pace up front. I think that really, for any team that comes up against them, if they keep it tight 70, 80 minutes, it's going to be really difficult to keep them out in the 90th minute. But props to both teams. They've both done exceedingly well, especially in this heat. And yeah, there's going to be many more battles between these two teams, which is even more exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be an entertaining season, that's for sure, but it's the Olympia Warriors who start thanks to that player right there, Josie Mamet, her second match-winning goal in the final minute of a game in as many weeks. Clutch as they come and secures 3 points for the Warriors here in their round 1 Super League clash. That's all from us here for game 1 of this doubler-header. We'll be back shortly. Kickoff has been pushed back for game 2 to 2:30 now. I'm really sure they need the extra time given there was already 15 minutes allocated, but we'll be back in around about 25 minutes or so for the second of today's games.